What a day. What a life. Okay. Communities.
That's right. Gymshark being our first one.
You're excited about this one?
Well, it's the first one I looked into
Right, okay.
for a reason. I think Gymshark do it really well.
Well, they're a UK brand founded in Birmingham by Ben Francis and Lewis Morgan, not far from where we are from.
Within an hour from where we grew up. So
less, 30 minutes.
Definitely not being biased.
Okay, you're Coventry, I'm Warwickshire, 100%, less than that, half an hour. But Ben Francis, surprisingly, makes me feel patriotic, Slevin.
which for people that don't know is incredibly hard to do.
Living here in Brazil for a good few years now, I'm not the most patriotic person. However, Ben definitely is someone to look up to and be inspired by. Youngest billionaire from the UK, I believe, and he's an MBE, which stands for...
I think it's Member of the Order of the British Empire, so you can see why people shorten it.
Okay. Well, he started from his garage, his basement, and he's built a gymwear brand, a DTC brand called Gymshark. Last year, they grew by 15% with a revenue of over $700 million.
That's right, and in that time frame, I think, well, recently Nike their shares have dropped about 30%.
$700 million.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, I think everyone knows them for the amazing founder, and truly he comes across as such a great guy, and their team they built. They're ahead of the curve when it comes to social media, influencer marketing, brand advocacy, all of that. But we're not here today to talk about that. We want to talk about community. You've got to think it's a big reason why they've gone up 15% of revenue last year. You've got to think that.
I don't think it's a coincidence.
Absolutely not.
As we'll talk about in a moment.
So you've done a report then, haven't you?
Well, so yeah, I've spent some time going through their different funnels, looking at end to end, what are they doing with their community and with their audience. And there's three things that I pulled out.
Okay.
So the first one is how they centralize their community away from the social media apps. The second one is how they've established an identity and a sense of belonging for their community.
Sure.
And then finally, how they actually then get the community to self-advocate itself.
Let's start with the first one then, which was centralizing the community, yeah?
Away from the social media apps, absolutely.
So that's what it means, centralizing community away from the social media apps.
Yeah, and I think that's very important, right, to distinguish where you're centralizing them or where you have those touch points with them. So, for example, the average cost to acquire a customer over the last decade has increased 222% for brands, which is significant. And now they're often only actually seeing a lifetime profit from a customer if they stick around. So they are focusing on increasing the lifetime value. So that's why you'll see a lot of people, you see a lot of funnels on LinkedIn where they're showing emails and basically they're plugging in 10% discount codes to try and get people to come back and purchase products again. So they're trying to get that email from the first purchase and then hit people up again.
The retention.
And again and again. It's the retention, absolutely. Right. Much more a clear way of saying it.
No, yeah, that's fine. But community must help people do this, right? Because retaining people, giving them we're going to talk about it now, but giving them a sense of belonging, giving them like a purpose to be part of, that's got to be the reason they stay for longer periods of time for a brand.
Well, yeah, and getting someone's attention is becoming increasingly more valuable, as we just said. So once you've got it, it costs you more, so you want to keep it for longer. And in an infinite content market, which is what we're seeing now, it's incredibly, incredibly important. So there's a few different ways that they've actually done this to centralize people away. So first one is a training app where people can go and get free training routines. They can customize it and track it while they're actually doing a workout. So a very useful free app, and they're offering free value to their community. Second is a product app. So rather than just purchasing on Shopify online, you can actually go through their app where they've got exclusive deals, discounts, and also you can book a visit to one of their stores in that app. And then finally is their physical stores. So in a world...
In-person physical stores.
Yeah, so in a world where more brands are going online, Gymshark are going more in person.
Well, they're zigging where people are zagging.
Zigging when people are zagging, exactly. But Ben Francis, the CEO, describes it as a place where people can go and experience the essence of Gymshark.
Okay.
So you can see where his head at and where Gymshark's head is at with these stores. It's not just a place to try and sell to their customers. They have, I think it's a juice bar. They have 33 fitness classes per week.
Yep.
They've got an area where you can go and talk to experts in nutrition and exercise, again for free, and you book through those apps. And then also their fitting rooms are set up like almost like a film studio.
Yes, I read this. I wanted to bring this up. This is really cool, right? Yeah. So you go in there, you kind of put the clothing on.
There's lighting.
There's lighting. You can make yourself look fantastic. Get a great photo for social media. Share it to all your friends. I mean, that's UGC in the top form, right? That's pretty cool.
Well, all of these things link together, and you're almost stealing my sandwiches here by saying exactly encouraging them to post and share online, which is that self-advocacy we'll come on to. But absolutely, that's the purpose of it. It's not just about revenue; it's about an experience.
Perfect. So the second point then, establishing identity and belonging. I'm really excited to go into this one because I think Gymshark do this incredibly well. Seeing them as a brand. I straight away think of the type of person who uses the Gymshark products, how they perceive themselves, and I think they've really targeted quite a few different niches actually, but they all kind of have the same sense of belonging, and I'm sure you're going to go into that.
Well, yeah. So branding a product is about like the design and it's about the logo, right? But wearing the logo should be more than just about the physical design of it. So Gymshark have given itself different values, and it's not just values for the brand. I think it's values for the community. So first one is be human. The next one is give a damn, but not give a damn. Do the right thing. Find the Gymshark way, and then put family first. I think what they're trying to do here is they're trying to establish values with their community members that they feel like they can resonate with, and they have those shared values. Shared values being a very important aspects
out of curiosity, where do they put those values? Like, where do they market them, or where do they push them?
It's on their website underneath. Where did I find them? On their website in About Us, I believe it was. But you will see them also when they go to these in-person events, and they have these in-person events. They are promoting these values through their actions, even if they're not specifically saying it.
Maybe that's something on another podcast we can look into. Where is the best place to post your community values and how to showcase that to your community? I think looking into that would be really interesting.
I think the best place to show your values, it's like, I think it's Alex Hormozy that said, show, don't sell.
Show, don't sell.
Show, don't sell. I'm a big fan of, we both are a fan of Hormozy and some of his, his theories on how to do things. But I think it's probably something similar for community, right? Rather than being really in your face and like, pushing out what their values are, it's probably demonstrating them, and not just through the brand itself from Gymshark's own content, but also from their brand ambassadors' content as well, having those shared values with those sub niches, with those sub communities, and together sharing them.
And with those kind of sense of values, and people must feel they're a part of a tribe. I'm sure that's a big reason why people wear Gymshark, because they feel they're part of this. Is it Gymshark fam?
Gymshark,
right?
the Gymshark fam, absolutely.
Right, tell me more about that.
So, but the CEO describes it as the Gymshark fam, and they often refer to it as the Gymshark fam, as in the Gymshark family. So they're trying to foster that sense of belonging. And you were touching on, maybe that's tribal. I think there probably is something in there where people want a sense of belonging. They don't just want to wear the brand because it looks cool, but they want to identify. I think what they've done a really good job of is building something that other people can identify with. The way that they did this was many years ago when they were still starting up. The founders went to an in-person event in Birmingham. I think it was a bodybuilding event, and they spoke to, at the time I described them as influencers rather than creators. They spoke to some influencers, they showed them the product, spoke to them about what they were about, and they really bought into it and started promoting it organically and authentically on their own social media, and then their followers gained a large interest. And that's what really got them down the influencer marketing path. So what they did was they identified trendsetters in their industry, in their niche, who commanded the attention and had shared values with their own communities and brought them into the central one, Gymshark.
So just so I understand that better, they would pick influencers, let's say in a niche of jiu-jitsu or boxing or running or volleyball or something. And
in this case, I think it was bodybuilding, but yes.
Bodybuilding, right? They started with that, but now Gymshark do have other athletes in different sectors. Like they have MMA fighters, they have boxers like Ryan Garcia, but I love, big fan of Ryan
Garcia. Feels
like
a pivot from their brand, but anyway.
I absolutely love Ryan Garcia. But they're targeting different niches, right? And then they're using those figureheads in those communities to bring their communities into
Absolutely.
to their own Gymshark community.
Absolutely. And the mistake that Gymshark don't make, which other people do, is they don't buy their UGC. I mean, they pay brand ambassadors, right? But now I think it's Incense, which is a marketplace for UGC. There's more of them. There's plenty of them. Great idea. You know, they solve some great pain points for their customers who don't know how to get good UGC. They don't know how to plug them in to ads, for paid ads. The issue now is we are increasingly living in a trust deficit where if you go on people's profiles and you see them swapping which brand they're promoting every day, that is not authentic. It's not user-generated content when they're a paid actor.
Right.
You've spoken before about how that happened with social media influencers.
Yeah, in 2015, or a little bit before in some countries, when influencer marketing started, this was a way for the brands to target the new generation, the Gen Z at the time, using influencers, right?
Yeah.
They paid them and they got a really organic kind of reach and they got to build a great awareness. But as influencers realised over time and the ones just wanted to earn quick cash, they would partner with anyone and they basically became commodities and just selling a brand. And then they lost authenticity and it didn't work. So if you pay for your UGC, it's kind of the same thing on scale, right?
Well, I think brands might start to see that happen. It was actually today I read that TikTok is seen as less authentic than Facebook.
Okay.
TikTok is seen as one of the most inauthentic apps now. Really interesting.
That is interesting. Well, probably because they've launched TikTok Shop and the majority of the products they're from China. They're usually very cheap. And they also promote the quantity of content. You don't get penalised on TikTok if you want to post the same thing 10 times a day with 10 different filters. In fact, they encourage it. It's not a bad thing.
Humans' attention span remains the same, but content is now infinite. There is more content online than either one of us could go through in our lifetime.
Do you think there's better content though now because there's more of it? Or do you think content has always been good, like in terms of the quality for the time? Or do you think we have better quality now?
I wouldn't know how to answer that one. I honestly don't know.
Okay, well let's stick to the script.
but no, I did one more thing I was thinking about, and maybe it's gone now. So what Gymshark actually do very well is their brand ambassadors are promoting the brand for a long period of time. They're wearing Gymshark, they're using it, and they're living and breathing Gymshark all the time, which increases that authenticity. If you go after a big creator with a lot of views that isn't authentically a user of the brand, you're going to increase the reach, you're going to increase your awareness, but you aren't going to increase your conversions.
Yeah, or authenticity.
Exactly.
Right? So the final point, encouraging self-advocacy.
Yep.
What's this all about, Slevin?
Well, we just spoke about the potential inauthenticity of people being paid to promote, or at least seeming like that. And what Gymshark do very well is they get the community to promote itself, and what this looks like, it could be shares on social media. So, for example, if you look at their social media content, a lot of it is designed to be around relatable content to their consumers or their community. Also, pop culture references, memes, essentially just things that are very shareable, very likable, or encourage commenting. Of course, what that does to the social media algorithms is pushes it further and wider, but also it pushes it to people that are similar to the actual community members engaging with it, because it's pushing it to people that they're following or they're friends with, connected with, whatever. And you'd like to think that they're more likely to have shared values with people that they're following.
Absolutely. So that's what self-advocacy basically is.
Exactly. And we say as well, don't we, that consumers trust people more than brands, but I think they trust community even more than people. When you see collectively a community sincerely engaging with a brand, I don't think there's anything more authentic than that. So as well as their online social media, they're also mixing it with in-person events very well. An example of this can be pop-up shops. I think they recently had one in the Middle East. They are also doing in-person fitness events or challenges. And then what they do is they take stories, they take some of their community members' stories or their successes, and then they share them online, building that trust.
2 points I want to bring up here. The first one, you've written actually, self-sustaining, thriving communities, right? When you say self-sustaining, what do you mean by that? I mean, you've talked about the fan participation, right?
Yep.
How the fans get involved both on and offline, which goes into my second point. But in terms of that self-sustainability, how did Gymshark do that?
Great question. And self-sustainability is incredibly important. We spoke at the start about the lifetime value being essential for D2C brands making a profit. Now, customer acquisitions are going up. So it's incredibly important to Gymshark and their increase in revenue. What they do is, I like to call it like a flywheel. You can turn your sales funnel, if it leads with a purchase at the bottom, is purely just a funnel, and you're only getting leads by pushing people in the top.
Okay.
If you then get the people that you convert, the people that you join your community to engage, to post, to tell their friends, to use their word of mouth in person and online, the brand can start to become a flywheel. Nice. And self-sustaining.
Okay.
And what all Gymshark are doing are enabling that to happen. They're enabling their community members to do it for them.
Well, let's link this into a real world example for community. So you have sports that people do. Let's say, for me, it's jiu-jitsu. I mean, that has got to be self-sustaining, right? That community, because the attendees or the students, they're obviously marketing themselves as jiu-jitsu, amateur athletes, and they want to tell their friends about that, which encourages their friends to potentially join. That will be self-sustaining. But Gymshark are doing that on a much bigger scale. But there's a lot you can learn from online communities. But interestingly enough, Gymshark have noticed the crossover between the real world and obviously the digital world, and how they've used that to kind of, again, self-sustain their community.
Absolutely, Gymshark are doing a really good job of that, and it's going to be very interesting to see where they focus their time and resources moving forwards with this community.
So from the analysis you've done, there's 3 main points: centralising the community, establishing identity and belonging, and encouraging self-advocacy. If people or brands want to do that themselves, what would you kind of recommend to them?
So if we look at how Gymshark have done it then, so target early adopters with trendsetters that command their attention and shape their opinions. So these were the influencers that had followers interested in the same things as them.
Okay.
Then you need to find ways to authentically engage with them and move them further into your community. So this can be things such as interactive newsletters, apps, WhatsApp communities, Telegram communities, or in-person events or in-person locations as well. And the third thing is to seek community advocacy. So this is to create content they want to engage with, create products they want to post about, and a brand identity they want to belong to.